In 1 Corinthians 1, verse 9, it says, "But God is faithful, by whom you are called into the fellowship of his Son, Jesus Christ, our Lord." As you lift and pull apart, may you experience the strength of God's faithfulness, drawing you closer to him through faith in Jesus Christ. And may your faith be lifted up and strengthened, just like your shoulders and arms, to boldly declare the gospel of Jesus Christ with others. I'm Raman Hunter. Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the isometric or the iso pull apart with front delt raise. Now, this exercise primarily targets the stabilizers of the shoulder, the rotator cuff muscles, as well as the retractors of the scapula or the shoulder blades, which are the mid fibers of the traps and the rhomboid group of muscles. All right. Now, starting position for this exercise is you start with shoulder width apart, feet shoulder width apart, knees slightly bent. You want to engage your core, keep your core nice and braced. And right now, I'm using a resistance loop. You can use a resistance band. If you have a band with you, you can use a resistance band and hold it and perform the same exercise. Or you can tie the ends of that band together and make a loop out of it. All right? So if I were to choose or prefer one as opposed to the other, I would prefer you use a resistance band because you can do many different things with the resistance band. It's not as limited as the resistance loop. Okay, so you can tie the ends of the resistance band together and make a loop out of it, or you can just hold the ends of the resistance band. You can hold it at about shoulder width apart and perform the same exercise. But the benefit of using the resistance loop, whether you make a loop out of the band or you use an actual small resistance loop like this, is that you have your hands free. So if it is that you want to put a little bit of variety in there and mix it up a little bit, you can hold a weight or you can hold two weights, whether it be dumbbells, bottles of water if you're at home, or you can hold some other type of weight in your hand and perform the same exercise. All right. You can also use a resistance tube as well. Now, I have the loop around my wrist like this. It's around my wrist in this position. My arms are extended. I starting at about 45 degrees down below. That's between extension and flexion or bending of the shoulder, about 45 degrees between there. And apply a pressure to the band. So I'm pulling the band apart as if I'm attempting to break the band. All right. So I'm pulling the band apart as much as possible, maintaining that force. While that force is being maintained, I'm going to hold it there and lift the arm up and down. You can stop at about shoulder height if you want, or you can go above shoulder height. That's up to you. Up and down. Now, I don't want you to be bending the back like this. You must not be rocking your back. That's what I'm saying. Brace your core. Bracing your core helps to avoid doing this type of motion. When the core is braced, it prevents other movements from occurring. And you really get to focus and put more emphasis on those shoulders while performing this exercise. So try not to lean back. Brace the core. Have the arms extended, pull apart the band, maintain that tension in the band. And while that tension is being maintained, you're going to lift the band up and down. Again, don't do it fast like that. Take your time and lift it up and then back down. If you're unable to lift it overhead, just stop at shoulder height. So you can stop at shoulder height first. And then once you have gotten a bit stronger, you can lift it up above the head and down. It's a wonderful rehabilitative exercise to really strengthen and build the conditioning and endurance in the rotator cuff muscles so they can help to stabilize and provide further support and control of the shoulder joint as you perform other movements of the shoulder. So there's a dynamic stabilization component to this exercise, which is very important, especially when rehabilitating certain injuries like the rotator cuff tear. And oftentimes, persons who may not have rotator cuff tears, not yet at least, but when they're doing some heavy lifting, like when they're doing a bench press or a shoulder press or overhead press, they begin to feel like a twinge or a twitch in the shoulder area or a slight pinching type of pain in the shoulder area, or they're unable to perform the lift. So they're doing a bench press and they find one hand lifting up more than the other. That's just because the rotator cuff muscles, the stabilizers of the shoulder, are pretty weak and they fatigue pretty easily. And as a result of fatiguing easily, you're still lifting that heavy weight, and so you have a lot more force and pressure going through the shoulder joint instead of those shoulder stabilizers kicking in and stabilizing the joint during that heavy lifting motion. All right, so it's really important to perform some of these exercises to potentiate or to really engage and further build the endurance and strength in the stabilizers before performing those actual gross movements of the bigger muscles, like the deltoids, right? So it's a wonderful exercise to add to your program. You can use it as a warm-up exercise. You can use it as an injury prevention exercise to prevent further problems from occurring in the shoulder. You can use a rehabilitative exercise for persons who are rehabilitating from rotator cuff tears, all right? If it is, though, that you're not sure about using this exercise, I would strongly advise you to seek medical advice from a physiotherapist first before performing this exercise. Again, just to go over it one more time, the starting position, feet shoulder width apart, knees slightly bent. You're bracing your core to avoid rocking back and forth. Keep your head in a neutral position because everything is connected, right? You don't want to move your head to the side. So keeping the head in a neutral position is really good. Pull apart the band. You have the band around the wrist. Pull it apart and lift it up and down. Shoulders back and down while performing this exercise. Again, shoulders back and down. Try not to shrug the shoulders like this and lift it up, back and down. Keep the shoulders back and down in that position while performing this exercise. And you'll be in a very good spot. This exercise really helps to bulletproof the shoulders. Remember to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm Roman Hunter. Have a wonderful day. Blessings.